Okay, well, I guess I'll give you just a quick overview of the house and then the system, and then if you have any questions. We purchased the house in 2004. We actually, one of our criteria in shopping for a house was that it had a south-facing roof, because we knew we always wanted to do solar. And about 2009, we started this renovation that, as you can see, we haven't finished yet. So basically what we did is we actually took off the roof and we built a second story. So this is all new up here, and but we still have the south-facing roof, and then we also have the west-facing roof. So yeah, we just kind of lucked out in terms of the timing. We always knew we wanted to do solar, but then it really worked out in terms of when we did the renovation and we put on the panels, and then we lucked into the 80 cents microfit program. We also have solar hot water, so we have just one Enerworks panel for that, or collector. So that preheats our water, and we sort of lucked out with that timing as well, because we got into the retrofit program where there was provincial and federal incentives for it. So it was great timing for us, but it was something that we were going to do anyways, so it was just a bit of a bonus.
So how much of your hot water is supplied by, and do you have a preheat tank?
Yeah, this is an Enerworks system. So it's made in Ontario. It's a fairly good system. There's basically two types, right? There's evacuated tubes. I don't know if there's any in the neighborhood, but there's evacuated tubes, and then there's flat plate collectors like that one. For producing hot water, usually like 2 to 4 people, you go probably 1 to 2 panel, or 2. So we decided just to go with 1 panel, so basically you have a storage tank in the basement. We have a tankless hot water heater also. So the tankless hot water heater is in series with the storage tank, and so the collector heats that storage tank. It's an auto-cycling system, and just heats it up. And then when hot water is needed, it just the tankless grabs the hot water from the storage tank. So it's preheated. Sometimes it's fully heated, so the tankless, it just flows right through the tankless without it turning on. It's a gas unit, that tankless, and it just flows right through. And so summertime, like a day like today, we're basically using like 100% solar hot water. Like yesterday also, like the tank goes up to like 70 Celsius. So
yeah, we've actually tested it out by turning off the tankless and just seeing how long the solar will last us.
Yeah,
so
we do that just for fun
from here on to through the summer, depending on how sunny it is, it could be 100% of our hot water for showers.
How big is your tank?
It's just a small one. It's a 40-gallon. Yeah, it's a regular. Yeah. That's the thing too. You gotta, it's professional people will will recommend you what tank or what system, right? You know what I mean? So you can't have one tank. It's a package, right? So it's got to be balanced. You don't have a huge tank with one panel, and you don't want to have a small tank with lots of panels. So it's basically it's a balance of things, right? With the power, how much power you can get out of it, i.e. BTUs, and how much you can.
Can you run the hot water for season, like in winter?
Well, in winter it works, but it's limited, right? Like December, there's no sun. January it starts coming out. In February, you'll hear it go on and off. It's not true south-facing, this panel, so it limits it. I lose about 25% of its efficiency because it's facing west. So that's basically what if it be facing south, I'd get a little bit more power out of it, obviously.
Other questions?
So do you have other features, like do you have gray water?
No, we're not that fancy. I wish. I wish.
Next house.
Yeah, next house.
And how big is the TV system?
It's just a small one. It's a 2.35.
Yeah, if we go down here, you probably
you see it
everything.
better.
So it's 2.35 kilowatts.
You got 2 meters, and you got your production meter, and you got your consumption meter. And this comes right from the inverter. My inverter's in the basement. It's called a string inverter. It's not a micro inverters. Most of the people in the neighborhood have micro inverters, which the inverter is attached to the panel itself. This is a string inverter, which is just a bigger unit basically, and it does all the panels. And it comes into that and feeds my disconnect. That's all what Hydro Ottawa is speccing. That's what they want to see. It's you don't get to decide that. They spec what they want, and you just do what they want. And basically, you got your 2 meters, and Yeah, you get a credit and you still have your original bill. So you have two pieces of paper from Ottawa every 2 months.
So we still pay for everything that we consume.
Right.
Like it's like
And
we
then
weren't
they
even
pay you back
connected, and then
They give you a check.
But it's completely different.
Yeah, because I could be
Two
renting
different
this
things.
house. I could be renting this house and still owning my PV system, and the check would be coming to a different address.
Right.
Right? It's my system. It's not really who lives in the house.
Where's your hot water system?
It's right there.
Kind of back off the
Oh,
scene.
it's, okay,
That's
that's
the collector and the PVs are on this.
Yeah, the PVs are here and the solar hot water's over there.
How many bar around the corner is going to be?
10 times 235.
Yeah, I can. Just, I've seen them when I ride it.
That's the thing. I removed the whole roof.
So that's what you would advise because I guess the lifetime is 20 years, 25.
Well, 25. You know, the warranty on the panels are 25, so it doesn't mean they'll stop working after 25. The contract is 20 years, so it's all like, you know, what happens to what happens. What do you do after 20 years? Do you remove the panels, or do you just keep them on? Obviously, I would keep them on. And then you're probably just going to go back to what it'll just be like a feed-in tariff of the rate that you're paying, right?
It'd be a net meter.
Yeah, net meter, exactly.
I'm just concerned about the roof. I mean, it's not advisable to put it on a 10-year-old roof, right?
No, so these I try. It's always about budget, right? Obviously, I would have went to like to go to steel, but steel being 5 times the price of shingles, you get to a balance, and you know what do you do, right? So I took the best shingles I could get. So those are like I think 45-year-old shingles. They should last at least 30. And with the pitch I have, this is a 45-degree pitch. Wow. I'm not too concerned. You could have a hole this big and water still won't get in because the pitch is so steep. That plays an effect, and obviously pitch plays an effect too for production. 30 degrees is the best. 45 is good for the winter, not as good for the summer. Obviously, summer you want as flat as you can. So 30 degrees is the sweet spot. 45 is okay, but you deal with what you've got, you know, basically.
What's the warranty on the system?
Like I said, 25 for the panels.
So 25-year warranty.
On the panels,
On the
yes.
panels.
On the panels. And 20 years from now, if the company's still around, I'm sure they would, but you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's a warranty, right? So
They
it's like,
degrade over years.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
offer you 80%.
yeah.
Tim
it's-
had a question?
It's like a car, you know?
Tom,
Sorry, Tom.
in the winter when you get a lot of snow, does the snow just does it
Yeah,
accumulate
that's
on the
a
panels or
good
not?
question actually, because it actually caught me by surprise a bit. I don't know about the design. I don't know if I do something different. It's hard in the setting, because what happened is it's really hard on your eaves trough. Really hard on your eaves trough, because what happened is if there's like 2 days of snow and there's 1 day of sunshine, even if it's minus 25, one little corner opens up and it just spreads like crazy, like wildfire, and then it just starts warming up from panel to panel to panel. Then it all comes down melting, right? And the bottom panel gets stacked from the snow from the top, so those ones don't melt as quickly as the top ones, and that can play an efficiency issue too. Like you're not producing as much because they're you know, I can't go up there. I'm not going to go up there and clean them, obviously, right? But then it stacks up on my eaves trough, and it makes kind of damage. Like I see my eaves trough in the winter, it took a beating. So I might have to add support to it, you know, maybe think of something else to it. So those are the kind of lesson learned from doing it. I didn't anticipate that. I thought maybe it would just come right off, but it's actually getting stuck there because it's too cold. So the second it leaves the panel, it freezes again. Yeah. Right. So.
I think in about 6-8 months' time, you're going to get phone calls saying, "Hi, I was part of a tour back in May, and I got a question for you."
Yeah. Call Ottawa Solar Power. I guess they put their sign there.
Yeah, but it's always good to hear.
I just noticed that this morning.
It's always good to hear somebody who's had the experience.
That
as
that
a
was
customer.
very savvy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wondering, I don't know about what rights do people have to the sun if your
Well,
neighbor
yeah.
builds a 3-story house?
There are no right to light legislation in place right now. It has to happen on a municipal basis,
Right,
but I kind of follow it a little bit, but yeah, it's something that could be a potential concern.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
Cross your fingers for you. Good luck.
Next stop, 2 blocks away on Breeze Hill.
Have fun, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Beautiful day for all.
Put on the big seats.